Well, it looks like this War of the Rohirrim is going to be an absolute failure, which makes sense because nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for this. It is another bastardization of Tolkien's lore, which never should have been made, much like Rings of Power. And the media is, of course, been covering for this entire time, and people are reacting to it because it's so ridiculous just how far Screen Rant will go for this clout. It's funny stuff. We'll look at all of this in just a moment. Smash that like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in culture, especially with fantasy like Lord of the Rings. I appreciate you guys for being there. And I have my own fantasy series, and I would love for you to check this out. If you want a good fantasy series, this is a 6-book series thus far. It's on ebook, print, and audio. And the best part is I've got it at 99 cents for book 1 on ebook this morning. And I'm reaching the top of my charts today. And I would love for you guys to come in right here. We are so close to number 1 in all of the steampunk categories that I would love to get there today. Just a 99-cent deal. You can get a good book. Win-win for everybody. Help me get there, guys. I really appreciate you for helping us in this Thanksgiving. And, of course, check out the whole series. It's really good. And if you like it on print or audio, it's available for that as well. So this is an airship swashbuckling adventure. A big war breaks out. I think it gets really heavy in that regard in Volume 3, which is called The Fight for Rislandia. And so you'll definitely like that kind of thing if you are a classic fantasy fan, for sure. But what classic fantasy fans don't like is this. The upcoming animated Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim film is tracking for an abysmal $17.5 million opening weekend. Terrible. The box office analyst Sean Robbins at Box Office Theories shared his early tracking predictions that the film will gross only between 15 and 24 million. He specifically predicts at 17.5 million. For its global domestic box office haul, he believes it will bring in 44 and 85 with a 49 prediction. He explains the anime approach of the prequel is likely to hinder what is usually a broader audience appeal for a Lord of the Rings franchise. He says, still, the medium has proven strong, even with lesser-known titles in the domestic market. So Rings could attract some attention here as a counterplayer, perhaps not dissimilar to how Godzilla Minus One aided the market last year. What he does not point out is that the Tolkien estate and Amazon MGM Studios also have done significant brand damage to Lord of the Rings with their Rings of Power, as we've mentioned multiple times on the channel here. As you can see, it's got a 6.9 rating out of 10, unweighted on Amazon. Not very good for their IMDb. And fans just hate this. Fans have really rejected the show. And it's an $880 billion disaster that has not gotten a lot of views for what it is. I honestly, here's the thing. I really wanted this to be good. I really, even just as a fantasy show, not even like trying to take it apart from Tolkien, I would have loved it. But obviously it did just destroy Tolkien's lore, which is hard to get past. But the show's so boring, even outside of that, and just such a train wreck and a cluster outside of that, that I couldn't even get through this first season. I think I've got 2 episodes to go. I really tried. It's just the episodes are like 80 minutes long, too. It's like, oof, painful. Make television shows 42 minutes again, my friends, is what I say. And of course, Rotten Tomatoes has an even worse audience score. Look at that. Look at the critics shilling for this show right here. It also had a massive decline in minutes watched in its second season compared to its first season. Data tracking Nielsen report showed that the episode premiered raked in 1.253 billion minutes watched. With season 2 episode premiere, it only brought in 1.015 billion minutes watched. So you can see there's like a 20% drop at that point. Pretty huge. Now, this is going to go very, very similarly for the War of Rohirrim. Nobody really wanted this. And the only people who were really talking about it, this is going viral as well on this topic, is Screen Rant. And of course, their title, which has been changed, by the way, they got rid of this because of the blowback. From a character ignored by Tolkien to starring in her own film, who is Hera Hammerhand? Ignored by Tolkien. This is Tolkien's work. He didn't ignore a character. He created the character, you moron. And this is exactly who works for the media. They do this kind of thing to obfuscate and of course try to make this narrative that like these characters, these women characters were neglected because they're women. And it's like, no, the author had a work and he wrote the work the way he wanted it, and that's how it was supposed to be. Now somebody out there is just taking these little characters and doing some weird fanfic that nobody really wants, and that's the whole problem with the system right now. This is why nobody is going to go see this film. This is why it's going to fail in a nutshell. What does that even mean? She wouldn't exist without Tolkien, says Pirate Nation right here. Like I said, it's going viral. Ignored by Tolkien, maybe because she wasn't important. If you had any doubts about how bad this was going to be, just another generic DEI-fueled girl boss trash fire right there. The Chivalry Guild says, it's funny how they're trying to make Tolkien sound mean for ignoring this character. And that's what they try to do. I mean, the whole D&D Gary Gygax thing that's going around, if you haven't watched my videos on that, go do so, because it's crazy. He invented Dungeons & Dragons, and of course, Gary Gygax was influenced by classic fantasy works like Tolkien. Well, the SJWs want to erase these people, turn them into bad people. If you've seen what they've done with Tolkien in recent years, there was a whole Nebula Awards conference from the Science Fiction Writers of America where they did a panel calling Tolkien racist for the way that he made orcs. Now, orcs are not real, but they wanted to make it, quote, racist anyway, because they wanted to destroy the guy, because what they do, and the book people complain about this all the time, that the shelves are stocked with Lord of the Rings, with Terry Brooks stuff, all these old authors, right? And they don't get stocked with the new books. And it's because their new SJW books just don't sell. And so they don't stock them. They stock the old ones because everybody wants those. And so they want to destroy these people, not only like just to make themselves feel better about themselves, but to try to get them off the bookshelves to, quote, make room for them so they could pretend like they're the ones inventing fantasy rather than that. It is really that insidious. It's that petty. That's where the woke mindset comes from. They feel entitled to be read, to be seen. And so even though they're just doing bad fan fiction like this, you need to watch this. You need to love it because it's my work, even though it's something that is just bad fan fiction of Tolkien. That's the whole mindset right there. It's really, really a sick thing. And this is what's going on not only in books, it's in Hollywood, video games, everything else as well, and in tabletop games as well, as these new Dungeons and Dragons editions are failing. So another one here, ignored by Tolkien. Thanks for the laughs, Screen Rant. That wasn't their story, and that's why they had to make a random name. If Tolkien wanted her to be important, he could have done just that. Another says, this right here is the problem. All these idiots in legacy media want to rewrite history. That's correct. Tolkien never ignored this character. She just mentioned because of what came from her being offered in matrimony and nothing else. These tourists need to go. And that's true. Screen Rant's on a whole other level of propaganda with this one. Tolkien never named this character, never described her. It's a total fabrication. So yes, this was not even a character with a name. This name was made up. Hera Hammerhand. And it even reeks of fan fiction in the name, and that's where it's absolutely crazy. But I guess, we should count our blessings, and at least she's a redhead in the film and not a black lady, because that's how it goes. And that if this does get successful, when they do cast a live-action version of it, they're going to replace her on that level as well, because it just is this vicious cycle that never ends. Well, fans are rejecting this. It's looking like it's going to go very, very poorly, and that's why the media is out there in advance trying to stand for this kind of thing and trying to push it, because they know that the audience doesn't like it, and they do just want to push things that the audience hates. It's like a big gaslighting circle that they always do with the media. Oh well, we're going to report on things here, and of course when it does come out, I might see it. Do you want me to review it? Because if you want me to review it, I will. Leave a comment down below to let me know about that. I do it for you, fam. I really do. I don't really want to go see this, though. Hit the like and subscribe button. And, of course, if you want to check out some great fantasy, grab this. For Steam and Country, this is how you do it. I wish, somebody adapt this. Do it faithfully. I'd really appreciate it, Hollywood. But, of course, they won't, because you know how it goes. And help us get to those #1 spots in the category. It's in the description below. Thank you for being there. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. We'll be back soon.